Bish bash bosh at the parks here today with another video, slightly different from usual actually, because we've got Kai doing his individual top 10 water rides. This sort of varies from what we normally do, because we tend to do a video together as such, but we're sort of taking a different approach, and we're going to have Kai doing his individual top 10, and then in a few weeks time we'll have me doing my top 10 flat rides, so that should be interesting. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing all well, and without further ado, I'll pass you over to Kai.
Yeah, thanks George. So I'm just going to get straight into the top 10 right now, and we're going to kick it off with number 10, which is mountain rafting at Heide Park in Germany. This is a 1992 Intamin Rapids style ride. The Intamin Rapids and the Rapids ride in general are really quite a staple of theme parks these days, and especially years back when they were really popular and really being built. They're almost having a bit of a resurgence at the moment with the likes of Infinity Falls over at SeaWorld Orlando, but you know, they are a staple of theme parks, and this is a really good rapids. It does everything perfectly well. It's got a lovely waterfalls, you know, the classic Intamin waterfalls that you get on the rapid style rides. This has some really great ones. In fact, Sean actually once described them as the best.
So here we are. Oh, look at that. Probably the best waterfalls I've ever seen on a rapids then.
You don't get too wet on this rapids. I don't think that's a good or a bad thing. It just depends on the weather really. But yeah, it's not too wet of a rapids at all. And the area around the rapids is really lovely actually. Sort of all these German Bavarian style buildings. It's really nice. I like it a lot. And this is definitely solid in at number 10. So on to number 9. This is Falls of the Nile at Terra Mitica in Spain. This is a MACK Rides log flume. This is going to sound a bit bizarre, but I couldn't actually find the opening date for this ride. I speculate it to be 2000, but I don't know. Is it Terra Mitica, which, let's be honest, is a park in what could only be described as disarray? I mean, the place is fucked. They've had a multitude of issues, such as, you know, the fucking bloke who got ejected from a ride. But anyway, we're here to talk about Falls of the Nile, which is a really memorable log flume style ride actually. It's got some interesting elements such as a turntable and a backwards drop, and some decent Egyptian theming around it, I'll be honest with you. Obviously, it is a bit of a shit park in terms of the history of the park and the direction it's going in, but from a theming perspective, Terra Mitica as a whole, especially Falls of the Nile, is actually quite nice, and I found it to be quite a memorable ride. I mean, comes in at number 9 and I think it deserves it. So, in at number 8, this is another MACK Rides log flume. In fact, this is Dragon Falls, or Tiger Rock, at Chessington World of Adventures. This is a 1987, or was rethemed in 2018, MACK Rides log flume. We actually covered this ride a bit more in detail in our Best Ride at Chessington video, so you can check that out if you like. It's got some lovely landscaping around it, and does everything a log flume really should do, all the basics, done to a T, and lovely theming. It's lovely to watch off-ride, lovely station building, all in all, definitely deserving at number 8. And if you do want to find out some more about the ride, feel free to check out our Best Ride at Chessington video. So, in at number 7 is Jurassic Park the Ride. This is at a couple of different Universal parks around the world, but I want to talk about the Universal Islands of Adventure version of the ride, which opened up back in 1999, and it's a Vekoma Shoot the Chutes style ride. It's very story-driven, very sort of highly themed, story-driven ride, much like a lot of the Universal rides. It's quite a typical Universal-style ride, really. Things start off quite gentle, with a lot of dinosaur animatronics. Really nice animatronics in this ride, actually, and there's a lot of them. And then things go a little bit wrong, as you might know if you've ridden it, and you enter this really fantastic indoor section, really highly themed, and lots of sort of lights flashing and different announcements going off saying that, you know, you're in a breached area and whatnot. And then you go down the great drop and hit the water, and you get a little bit wet. Nothing too severe on here, no tidal wave level, but yeah, no, it's a really nice ride and definitely deserving in at number 7. So, on to number 6, we have Loggers Leap. Well, we had Loggers Leap. May it rest in peace. Rest up, Loggers. So, yeah, Loggers Leap was, I mean, it is still there. it is just sitting slightly abandoned. So if you want to do something about that and install the RMC Thorpe Park, feel free, all right?
Steel vengeance. We have what it takes to saddle up and plunge down its unforgiving 90-degree drop, to stomach the most gravity-defying coaster on Earth, to rip through nearly 6,000 feet of wood and steel as you ricochet left and right. Or are you gonna cut and run? It's the wildest ride ever built at the only place wild enough to build it. At Thorpe Park.
So this was a 1989 MACK Rides log flume. It's obviously a much missed attraction at Thorpe Park. It was one of the most popular while it was there, and it had a really fantastic double down drop. It was a great drop, and it was actually the tallest in the UK at the time it shut. It went all through the woods at the back of the park. If you've done the Platform 15 scare maze at the park, then it sort of followed a similar route to that, all sort of through the lakes and the woods that are towards the back of the island. And the best part of this ride, which I won't even speak about, I'll just let you hear it. Yeah, I mean, that just makes it, doesn't it? Any ride that's got a soundtrack like that, it deserves to be in a top. Well, it's a top 6 water ride, isn't it? So world class, absolutely. On to number 5 then here with River Quest at Phantasialand. This is a 2002 Hafema Rapids. It's got some really good theme in this one. It was actually sort of redone to tie in a bit more with Klugheim a couple of years ago, but it's mainly based around the mystery style, so more in check with Mystery Castle. It's quite an interesting rapid system, actually, this one built by Hafema. Rather than the Intamin boats, which are sort of a complete circle, these sort of have little chops in them in between different sort of rows of seats, if that makes sense. So it's almost like 4 quarters to make the circular rapids boat. So it's a really interesting system, and it's actually got a massive sort of log flume style drop with an elevator. It's the second biggest of these in the world, and it has an elevator that leads up to it, which is all themed as well. So it's really, really nicely done, and you get absolutely soaked on this ride. Not only on that drop, but all through it there's other little dips and drops, and you get really, really wet, which was lucky for us, because when we visited Phantasialand last July, it was one of the hottest days of the year. It was about 30, 35 degrees odd, so really, really hot day, and you get really wet on River Quest, which is really quite a good thing. So, in at number 4 is Excalibur, Secrets of the Dark Forest at Movie Park, Germany. This originally opened in 1996, but received the Excalibur theme in 2018, and it's an Intamin Rapids, and it's actually my favourite rapids in the world. Yeah, it does just edge out River Quest at Phantasialand, which I know is a slightly controversial opinion, because River Quest is quite highly regarded in terms of rapids rides, but no, this is my favourite in the world, so there's a little spoiler for what's coming in the future, because it's not going to be a rapids ride. What really makes this is the theming all around, not even just on ride, but the queue line theming is fantastic as well. We sort of start in a little forest, and then you enter this building and you go in, and there's all the King Arthur round table style theming. And one thing I found particularly impressive about Excalibur is it's got a turntable station indoors, so it's this massive sort of cave themed station building, and it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, the theming all around is really nice, and that's not to take away from it on ride. It is got a good on ride experience as well in terms of what the actual rapids layout does. Doesn't get you too wet at all, unfortunately. I mean, you might consider that fortunate, but when we went it was about 40 degrees, so we definitely did want to get a bit more wet than we ended up getting. But overall, it's an absolute class rapids, my favourite rapids. So number 4 is Excalibur, Secrets of the Dark Forest. Moving on to number 3 then, we're getting into the top 3, is Tidal Wave at Thorpe Park. This is a Hopkins Shoot the Chute style ride that opened up in 2000. It's got a really interesting, quite cool theme really, with the it being the tidal wave that struck Amity. It's quite unconventional that you get a ride that is the theme of the area in terms of the fact that, you are what's causing the damage. So that's quite interesting. I mean, I say that, the swarm literally does that just over the road, but, It's got quite a fun queue line with all the broken shower style elements, and the drop on this ride is stunning. I mean, that's the highlight of the ride really, other than how wet you get, is the drop. It's a really nice, it's about 90 foot tall, I believe. Yeah, it's a really, really lovely drop. Good airtime on it, and quite forceful, and then you get absolutely soaked at the bottom of it. It's a shoot the chutes, isn't it? So it's basic, it's up, down, into the water, get drenched. I love Tidal Wave. So on to number 2, into the top 2. I will admit that this was very, very close from becoming number 1, but this is Splash Mountain at Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom. There are obviously a couple of different variations of the ride, but I'm on about the Magic Kingdom variation of it, which is a 1989 Hopkins log flume. So look at that, 2 Hopkins in a row. It's filled with all these lovely animatronics themed around the Song of the South. So lovely, just feel good, happy theme all around, and it's covered in this lovely rock work and different sort of, I guess they're brambles, sort of thorns and stuff around the drop. And you do get pretty wet on this, to be honest with you, not to an extreme extent. In fact, one of the things that gets you the most wet is a little effect that goes off as you're adjacent to the drop, which just launches water out over you. And the ending of the ride is lovely as well, with all the animatronics fucking clapping and singing and all that shit. I mean, it's classic Disney, innit? Obviously, with it being a Disney ride, all of this lovely stuff gets ruined a little bit by prams and shit everywhere. But, you know, that's Disney for you, isn't it? Galaxy's Edge, after all. You know, oh yeah, this immersive place going through Batu. Oh, fucking hell, some bitches. Oh, fucking hell, someone's pushing a pram around. Oh, they definitely do that on the Isle of Batu, don't they? Anyway, we're on about Splash Mountain here, which is a lovely water ride and comes in at number 2. Well, here we go. What is my number 1 water ride in the world? Well, it is Chiapas at Phantasialand. Maybe a predictable choice here, but this is a 2014 Intamin log flume. It's their sort of new generation log flume system, and I can confirm it is absolutely fantastic. It looks stunning off-ride, especially you can see the really steep drop, and it is the steepest drop on any log flume in the world, and then it goes into that airtime hill with the sort of Chiapas sign, so it looks really nice off-ride, and the theme of it is really, really nice. It's a bit unconventional. It's got a sort of a Day of the Dead Mexican style theme, and it's really nice. It's, you know, got that sort of with disco skull elements. I mean, I love the theme of the ride. It's got some sort of different sort of elements as well with it, sort of the side track, switch track, and they're all sort of tied in really nice with different theming elements of like smoke coming out and different effects and stuff like that. If I did have to say negative about Chiapas, it would be the restraint system, which I don't like. I don't really like restraints on log flumes at all, but I guess it had to be done with this one. But I'm just not a fan of the way like the bar comes down, but whatever. It clearly hasn't taken away from it that much, because it's still my number 1. The drop is fantastic on it as well. You know, it is the steepest drop, as I've said, and it's probably why it needs them restraints. So, you know, hey ho, take what you want. But overall, Chiapas, one of the best, if not the best, water ride in the world, and it's definitely the best for me as far as the ones I've done. So in at number 1, Chiapas at Phantasialand. When all this shit is done, get yourself down to Phantasialand and get on Chiapas and all their other fantastic rides as well. So I'm going to pass you back over to George, but for me, see you later.
And there we have it. Kai's number 1 is Chiapas at Phantasialand. I couldn't agree more with that. It's definitely my number 1 water ride as well. Really good there. And also quite an interesting one, Loggers Leap at number 6. A very iconic water ride in the UK there. Definitely deserves to be there. I mean, it's not operating anymore, but the station has been transformed into the almighty Creek Freak Massacre. Definitely a top quality scare maze. That could be something we have coming in some soon videos. But in a few weeks' time, you'll see me doing my top 10 flat rides. And once again, I hope you are all doing well, and we would really appreciate any comments, ideas down in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.